Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fuel for Thought, the F1 podcast, where today we're going to discuss the Singapore Grand Prix,
We are indeed.
the night race of all night races.
The hardest race on the calendar, some may say.
Yeah,
Most may say.
a lot of them were saying that.
Yep.
Yeah, not the most entertaining race of the season so far.
No, definitely not. But still, still an entertaining one.
Not the worst. Yeah,
This track isn't well known for overtaking, although there was 4 DRS zones. I believe there was one more than last year. I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure there is, to help with that
4 is a
aspect of
lot.
it. 4 is a lot. 4 is a lot, but narrow streets, so
yeah,
that's potentially why they've done it.
and saying that, no safety cars.
I know, this is the first time the Singapore Grand Prix hasn't had a safety car or a yellow flag.
So they're saying it was like the quickest ever Singapore Grand Prix.
Yep.
What's going on this season?
I know. There's 9 races now without a safety car.
It's not.
Well,
There was a safety car last
okay,
race.
but I don't think they're including the VSC in their statistics.
Yeah, they always do that where
Yeah.
they're like something will break the statistics. So they'll just be like, oh, there's 9 races without a real safety car.
So let's just remove that.
Without the
one.
safety car coming on track.
Yeah, I think they've said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, they'll be like, oh, Lewis Hamilton has won every season in seasons that don't end in 1 or 2. I mean, 2 or 3.
Did they really say that?
No, but
Okay.
that's an example of like the kind of thing they
Right,
would do
okay, yeah,
to
yeah.
like make a stat
Yeah, that's fair.
still work. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
okay.
Like, anyway.
Yeah, fair. Let's start with qualifying, shall we? So,
Yeah.
obviously, Lando qualified on pole. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Kind of expected it. Max Verstappen, he did pretty well this weekend.
Yes.
That was quite shocking because, one, Red Bull aren't known to be good around Singapore. They've never won it, even in their dominant era. But, yeah, as I said last podcast, what if they've, reversed it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Max doing Max things, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Perez was nowhere near.
Nope. Qualified.
Again, back to his old ways.
P13 he qualified.
Yeah, I feel like that flew under the radar a little bit because I didn't really realise where he qualified.
Yeah.
And then the whole race, he was sort of just down there and finished.
He was stuck behind cars most of the time.
Finished at P10.
Yeah, he got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ferrari weren't very good in qualifying.
Well, they were until Charles lost his time
Yeah. Yeah, with track limits.
and Science hit the wall. So, I suppose technically speaking, rather than the car being slow, the drivers made mistakes.
Yeah, driving
Both
mistakes.
of them did.
Yeah. Not good. Not good for Ferrari.
Do you know what? Sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say, because this track hasn't got a lot of opportunities for overtaking, track position is important. So obviously starting 9th and 10th didn't put them in a good position.
No.
But obviously they'd made their way up regardless.
Did you watch qualifying?
Yes.
That when the angle of Science hitting the wall, I thought it was way worse than it was.
Yeah, I know.
It looked like so like I don't know, like such a fast crash.
Yeah.
From that side angle where you saw his car go.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he was on a fast lap, but he wasn't. He was on an out lap, wasn't he?
Well, he was starting a fast lap, so technically
okay.
he was going fast.
Yeah.
So it was at the end of the lap, so he was like speeding up to go for one.
Yeah. I wonder, because he was obviously behind Oscar, so I wonder if that caused it, the turbulent air.
Yeah, he was behind. I don't know. So trying to think, because Max was just behind him, had to slow off the yellows, and then he had a green straight after on the straight, but he lost his time. Because
Oh, yeah.
the rule now is like everyone loses their time on double yellows to stop people from trying to gain an advantage.
Right,
But
okay.
I feel like that's the situation where the rule doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he was so close behind it. And also, showing his onboard, I could not see the yellows to save my life.
Yeah, me neither. And also, I swear the board that flashes was green.
It was the arch straight after the crash.
Okay.
But
I couldn't see the yellows at all either. So I think that was slightly unfair. But
yeah, but he still qualified P2, which I think is probably the best he could have done.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Who else is worth mentioning in qualifying? Oh, Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
qualified.
P6.
Yeah, P6. Pretty decent from Haas.
I just wonder how he's going to do in the Sauber next year, considering they are far and away the worst car at the moment.
No points this season. Nil points. Mm-hmm. Finishing last pretty much all the time. Oscar Piastri didn't do as well as he'd hoped in qualifying.
No, that's true. Yeah, especially after last weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He apparently he played Uno after his. I feel like I'm mentioning Uno a lot in this podcast. Played Uno after his win. I would definitely celebrate winning a race by playing Uno. I love a good game of Uno. Anyway, moving on. Daniel Ricciardo qualified P16. Some may say it's his last.
To say about that, really.
Yeah, his last race in Formula One.
Yeah, I said last time. I don't think it will be.
So did I, but everyone seemed to know. I feel like everyone knew something, but no one kind of wanted to confer about it. And
But I feel like
actually say
people kind of know that he's going to get replaced after Singapore now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a rumor. That's what.
So did
last
I.
time. So I didn't think there was much weight to it, but it seems like it's just the general consensus, even from Daniel being really upset.
That was really hard to watch. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a given now from everyone's reaction. Even the commentators are like, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's last race, expected to be last race. And they did like a Sky Sports tribute for him. So if he doesn't get replaced now, almost seems a bit like, oh, everyone was... Obviously, I don't want him to be replaced. I'd rather he stayed on the grid. But everyone's made such a big thing about it that, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily deserve to be replaced, but he was brought in to be faster than Yuki, and he hasn't been.
Yeah, but if you actually look at the statistics...
Yeah, but he needs to be a lot faster.
Consistently faster, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. But there are rumours that they're going to replace him with Liam Lawson and then bring him back in the Red Bull for Abu Dhabi.
That's silly.
I don't know where I heard these rumours. That obviously...
Imagine it's a title fight in Abu Dhabi, and then they just switch out the second driver for Red Bull when... Like, I know Perez probably won't be in a position to back Max up, but why rock the boat? Why change anything?
Yeah, so true. I wonder if they'll bring him back in the RB for Abu Dhabi and test Liam Lawson up until then and then bring him back. But I don't know. They might. If they want to, like, bring some publicity, they might bring him back for that and make it, like, a big deal about his last race.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It will be sad to see Daniel go, though.
Yeah. Right, well, we should probably move on to the race, though.
Yep.
I mean, there was not really much to talk about. Norris led from start to finish.
Yeah, he had a couple of tangles, or almost...
Taps.
Yeah, taps on the wall.
Yeah, that was... Oh, God. Got lucky there.
Yeah, apparently he was pushing really, really hard. He wanted to, obviously in the first stint, he wanted to make that gap, so he had a free pit stop. And then apparently in the second stint, he wanted to do the same because... If he had to pit again for soft tyres and do a faster lap, he wanted to build up that gap. But apparently the hard tyres in his second stint weren't working as well for him as the medium tyres. So then, yeah, that's why obviously he almost crashed into the wall. And I think he had to kind of check himself and was like, actually...
Yeah, why would you risk it?
Yeah, you
so
just
far
wouldn't.
in front. What did he win by, like 30 seconds or something in the end?
Yeah.
It's like a Max Verstappen kind of gap.
Yeah, exactly.
And fair play to Norris. His last two wins have been by significant margins, and that's the only times we've really seen that this season. I think probably since Max Verstappen. So, the other drivers winning have not won by big margins, but
No.
when he's dominating, he is.
Yeah,
Been
really
dominating,
fast.
so
Yeah,
fair play to him.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and finally kept the lead on lap one.
I know, he led the whole race. Even with his pit stop, he came out in first. Fantastic. Love to see it.
But didn't quite get the Grand Slam. Got
Fastest lap.
stolen off him in the last lap by Mr. Daniel Ricciardo.
I feel like you want to talk about this.
I got some opinions, okay. So, whether you want to say that he helps him out for Max or just for himself or whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact that Red Bull own two teams and things like this have the possibility of happen means that a conflict of interest exists. That's why they shouldn't own two teams. Because, yeah, this is a little thing, but if Max wins the championship by 1 point, you could easily point back to that and be like, what if that didn't happen?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a way for that to happen. You know, it's like, say the owners of Manchester City were like, oh, I want to own Manchester United as well. And there wasn't a rule against it. And it came to the last game of the season. They're in a title fight with Arsenal, for example. They're leading by 1 point or whatever. And, the last game they get to Manchester United. And they win. People are just going to be like, oh, yeah, but you could have told Manchester United to lose. Or not play as hard. It's like, that's when the conflict of interest exists. And that brings the integrity of the sport into question. And I don't like that. It shouldn't happen in any sport.
Yeah, I agree. Because even if it was obviously to help Max in the championship, or if Daniel Ricciardo did it for himself to make him him to look good to the Red Bull family, like if he was the reason to help Max win the championship because of that 1 point, either way, it's still a conflict of interest because...
Exactly. Nothing has to happen for the conflict to exist.
Yeah.
The controversy is when it exists. Like the lack of integrity is when it exists, not when it's exploited.
Yeah.
So, and I know, they bought two teams in a time where the F1 needed a boost, but actually for, again, the integrity of the sport and the sake of the rules and fairness moving forward, I feel like there should be a change. But, yeah. It seems like F1 plays differently to other sports.
Yeah, it is a bit strange, to be honest. I don't understand why. Because then, obviously, teammates are there to help each other. So, obviously, last week in Baku, Lando held back Perez so Oscar could keep the lead of the race. If you've got, and that's obviously his teammate, but if you've got
it's different.
3 other drivers that could potentially do that, because you're kind of all in the same umbrella.
Competitive advantage, an unfair competitive advantage over everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's when, back when they were AlphaTauri and the commentators would be like, oh, if I was Christian Horner, I'd be on the blower to AlphaTauri and get Gasly out the way. It's like, hang on a minute. We shouldn't even be having these discussions.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's my rant over. I feel like people have strong opinions for and against, but in terms of, trying to be objective about it. If it was any team, I think I'd feel the same.
Yeah. Just shouldn't have 2 teams.
No. Exactly. Anyway.
Moving on. Were we? Where were we? Where actually were we? Oh, Lando Norris won. Fantastic.
Yeah, Max came second, so actually the gap is only closed by 7 points.
Yep. I think, so what do they say? Because of obviously Daniel stealing that point, if Lando wins every single race and gets the fastest lap in every single race, and Max finishes in P2, Max will still win the championship by that 1 point.
No, I think they'll be level on points.
No, that's if Lando got the fastest point, I think.
Oh.
Fastest lap
point, yeah. Okay. Well,
I think, yeah.
I can't see them getting 1-2 every single race.
Definitely not.
But then again, I can't see Norris winning every single race either.
Yeah, me neither.
So we'll see what happens. 1 DNF opens that right up.
For sure.
For Verstappen. 1 DNF for Norris. Yeah, it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. I think if he DNFs, that will be it.
Can't afford to at this stage.
No. Obviously, it would still be possible, but Max would have to have some real bad luck at that point.
Yeah.
But I think Red Bull are bringing some upgrades to Austin, so that could help them. But there has been some situations this season where certain teams have bought upgrades that have actually downgraded their car. So who knows what will happen with that.
Yeah, Mercedes won as quick as they wanted to be this weekend. They compromised Lewis's strategy because he qualified P3, qualified well. They put him on softs at the start. And it didn't work for him. He didn't make any gains.
I think they did that because they wanted him to take Max at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason, I think. And obviously, that's a massive gamble to make.
Yeah. But he was not happy.
He actually did almost. He
did almost,
but not, yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing. Overtaken's another thing. So.
Yeah, by the end, because he swapped into hard tyres, didn't he? And lap 18, So by the end, his tyres were just off, and that's why.
Leclerc got him in the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
From P9, actually.
yeah,
Fair play.
yeah. George Russell, he qualified P4 and finished P4.
Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had an okay race.
Okay, yeah. They weren't very happy in either car, though, I don't think.
No.
I think they wanted a podium.
Yeah. Did you hear George's radio where he was like, "Can I have some encouragement, please?"
Yeah.
I'm assuming it means something different to what we think it means.
Yeah, as in, like, it probably means, like, tell me if the lap times are good, tell me, like, if my, like, speed through the corners are good, like, where I can improve, that kind of thing, rather than, like, come on, George, you can do it.
Can you imagine if they had someone just to, like...
Just get his mum on the radio.
Yeah. George, it's okay. You're doing really well.
Jeez.
Cute. Yes. Overall, I think Mercedes were okay, and I think they maximised from what they had. Apart from potentially Lewis probably should have got P5 in that situation rather than P6. But
I think it's probably just one more driver I want to mention.
okay.
Franco Colapinto. They'll move on turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dive bomb.
Albon wasn't happy.
He wasn't. I thought it was good though.
It was a good move.
Yeah, definitely.
There was loads of space on the inside there, and he just was like, "All right, thank you very much."
Yeah.
Didn't like a couple of drivers went off the track, but he didn't really run them off the track. He just good hard racing.
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I think he qualified P12 and went up to P8 when he did that. That was really good. And he was holding up Perez, like in Perez's first stint. Perez was like, Colapinto is really good. I can't get past him.
Yeah.
So I think he's really proving himself. Like, he's come into F1, proved himself right
Fair
away.
play.
Definitely. And obviously Singapore is the hardest race. Apparently after the race he was having like stomach cramps and stuff because obviously the cockpit is really
Hot.
So yeah, you just have to obviously have that athlete mentality.
But he finished P11, so almost got a point. But no, solid
Yeah.
performance, and it goes to show that it was justified.
Yeah, he only was like 1.5 seconds off P10 off Perez. So yeah, definitely.
And that's
I think,
a Red Bull, so
yeah, and yeah, I think James Vowles' decision was obviously a good decision.
As we say, it's elite level of motorsport.
Yeah,
Got to do what's best.
definitely.
So yeah, a quick mention for him there.
Well done. Alex Albon DNF.
He did, yeah. Just
I think it was
overheated.
Yeah.
Something in the ducts or something. But yeah, the bottom of the field, I mean, it just kind of played out really. I don't really think there were many fights in the midfield, were there?
No, Sonoda got annoyed at Ricciardo. Well, at them not letting him pass Ricciardo because they were
was on softs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really about it. So I think it's a good time to move on to our predictions.
Right.
And see how we did.
I definitely didn't do as well this week as I have done previously.
God, it's so hard trying to guess now. These
is,
things.
yeah.
It's like, is this going to be an unpredictable race or a predictable race or what?
Yeah.
And it ultimately makes it all unpredictable.
Right. In qualifying, I said George Russell P3, Oscar Piastri P2, Lando Norris pole position.
So you got one right. Mm-hmm. I also got one right.
Who did you get right?
Lewis Hamilton P3.
Ah, okay. Who did you put on pole?
Lando Norris P2. Charles Leclerc on pole.
Ah.
I thought, the poleman is going to do it again,
Yeah.
but no.
And Ferrari did well here last year, so I understand where you're going with
It just
that.
seemed like Norris it looked easy for him in qualifying.
Yeah.
He was just, it didn't even look like he was pushing that hard. He did a yellow first sector and then I think 2 greens and got pole position.
That's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
Didn't he get pole position by like 0.5 a second as well?
Yeah, probably. I think something like
I
that.
don't know.
And like McLaren's, it was a rocket ship right
Yeah,
there.
rocket ship.
Did you see that clip of the gap between Norris and Verstappen?
Yeah. Or in the race?
In the race.
Yeah. Crazy.
So Verstappen couldn't see him.
It's literally like the opposite of
Yeah.
last. I feel like I've definitely seen a lot of clips of when Max was dominating.
Yeah.
Someone like filming it and saying this is the gap between Max and whoever was behind him.
Yeah.
Right, the race. I said Lando Norris would finish in P3, which is actually embarrassing for me because I should really back him, and he proved me wrong.
Yeah, but you're trying to predict something because you just can't. It's so hard to just be like, yeah, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen,
Yeah.
or Norris,
Especially because in Baku, Lando didn't qualify well at all.
No.
And he finished in P4. So, like, you just don't know. It's
logically that should happen
Yeah.
every time at
Yeah.
the moment based on the pace of the cars, but it hasn't been. So it's like you gotta try and mix it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you say all of them?
No, I just had P3.
Okay.
Do you want me to say the rest?
Yeah, say the rest.
Okay. I said Lewis Hamilton would finish in P2 and George Russell would win. I clearly had faith in the Mercedes, and in qualifying, obviously they looked like one of the fastest. I think Max Verstappen was kind of a bit of an outlier in the well, he always is an outlier in the Red Bull compared to Perez, but yeah, I think they had a really strong car, but obviously in the race they were really struggling with both over steer and understeer. But yeah, I just thought that they would be fastest around here.
Yeah, I mean Hamilton could have got P2 if they got his strategy right.
Yeah.
And if he'd overtaken Max at the start and somehow pulled that off.
Yeah.
But not realistic, really.
No.
So actually, my predictions are pretty good. I got 2 right.
I can't remember what you put.
P3, Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
P2, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Switched out for Max Verstappen, and I got all 3.
Yeah,
P1, Lando Norris.
That's really good.
There you go.
That's really
Can
good.
get some right.
Because I feel like you'd kind of expect to put Lando and Oscar P1, P2. I don't know.
Yeah, but my logic for it was like, Oscar's quick, but he's got to be more consistent. And he's going to get more consistent, but with the, and I say that with the field being as tight as it is.
Yeah.
Because the second you drop 1% of performance, someone else is in front of you. A Verstappen just takes advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's not criticism of him. It's more just like it's the second season. He's quick, obviously, capable of wins this early on. Is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
But he's just going to get quicker and quicker. That was my logic behind that.
Well, your logic clearly works.
Yeah, because
you're right.
Again, he just dropped a little bit of consistency. He qualified a little bit lower than he wanted to, but came back up to P3.
Yeah.
Good drive from him, actually. Very solid.
Yeah, it was. Definitely.
But it's what you expect from someone in that seat, especially when Norris is winning by half a minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his strategy allowed him to basically overtake both Mercedes. Mm-hmm. He came out behind them with his late pit stop, but because of his fresh tyres and
he looks really quick. Actually.
Yeah, Lewis was on really old tyres and George was on older tyres as well. It just kind of gifted Oscar P3 because
he deserved it.
Yeah, definitely. If you can manage your tyres that long in order to gain that advantage, then job well done. Like, I think that's the highest he probably could have got from where he started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right, and we're finally on to our bold predictions.
This first one makes me sad.
Why?
I said Danny Rick points. Because obviously the rumours were flying around that this would be his last race. So I was like really trying to boost him. Like, yeah, he's going to get points. I thought that if he thought this was his last race, then he would feel boosted as well. But, yeah.
He did not get points.
No.
So actually, this first bold prediction, I got right. No safety car.
Yeah.
And around Singapore, I thought that was quite bold.
I know. And also, apparently it was raining sometimes this weekend.
Was it?
I don't think it was raining while they were on track, but like there was spots of rain around the area, which has never rained. Well, it's obviously rained in Singapore, but like it's not.
Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Did you see the lizard?
I did. Why is it running like that? Is that how they run?
That's how lizards run.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And then did you see the marshals making fun of the lizard?
No.
They were like running down the same bit of track like the lizard the next day.
That's so cute. Aw, bless it. It's probably like, why are these people on my street? Why are all these lights
Big
up?
lizard.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Anyway.
My second bold prediction was a bad pit stop will cost the pole sitter the win. No.
Certainly not.
No, he didn't even lose the lead when he pitted.
I don't remember any bad pit stops this weekend.
I think Alpine had one bad pit stop. Yeah, but I don't think there was anything else, to be honest.
So my second one was Red Bull have a slow pit stop. I don't believe they did. They had like a 2.3 second pit stop, and then I don't remember seeing any others. But do you know who did have quick pit stops for them was Mercedes.
Really?
2.2 seconds on both cars.
Whoa.
I think, if I remember right.
Okay.
And McLaren also did a 2.2. So, yeah, maybe the conditions were right for pit stops this weekend.
Maybe. Nice.
Yeah.
So
So
you didn't get that
interesting.
one. You didn't get that one.
No. Slower than Mercedes, though. I don't know. That's pretty slow for them. Because Mercedes are notoriously, like, consistently average at pit stops.
You said they did it in 2.2.
Yeah, exactly. So that's quick for them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Which means if Red Bull are slower than Mercedes at pit stops,
Oh my gosh,
then
you can't go. You can't.
it's bad for them.
This is just too much.
Slow
now.
for them.
Stop that. Right.
Okay.
You can't like reach that much.
Half a point.
No, we're not even counting points.
I know.
Okay, my third one was Colapinto points again, which I was very close with.
Yeah.
He was in contention.
But he didn't get any points.
No, so I didn't obviously get that, but I was close. Let's just write that in the records.
This one for me was, in hindsight, a bit delusional. Perez to out-qualify Max again.
That was a bit delusional of you. I feel
But
like
he out-qualified him in Baku.
yeah, but I had a feeling about that one, and also he has previous in Baku. He has the statistics to back him up.
Yeah, but I just thought it's another street track, and you all know he likes street tracks, and I feel like I've criticised Perez a lot this season, and I think a lot of it rightly so.
Yeah.
Because he's the second Rebel driver, and he's been nowhere near Max Verstappen all season. So
Exhibit this weekend.
I don't know. I just felt a little bit like I owed him a little bit of faith after Baku. I thought, all right, no, he is capable still. Maybe he takes that confidence into Singapore, and he didn't. He was just pretty poor for Red Bull again.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Perez, I tried. Oh well.
Did he?
Won't be doing that again.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyway, we'll see after the Mexican Grand Prix how much faith they have in him.
Well, yeah, that's his home.
Well, see, the other thing is, sorry, really jarring segue there. Apparently Netflix, is it Netflix or Disney? It might be Disney. They've got a documentary coming out about Perez
Really?
in Red Bull in Mexico.
Oh.
So
Wow.
if they release that after he'd been dropped from Red Bull, his story of getting into Red Bull, then they'd lose money, wouldn't they? Probably.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of big players here keeping him in his race seat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, actually.
I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to fact check that, but I believe that is something along those lines, like
Yeah.
a Disney documentary, I think.
Okay. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Mexico's in 4 weeks, I think. 4 weeks' time. It's the 27th,
Okay.
I think, is Mexico.
Okay.
Of October, obviously.
So do you think after Mexico we'll see the writing on the wall for Sergio Perez?
Maybe, yeah, because, well, all the tickets will be probably sold by now, but they'll want the atmosphere, they'll want people to buy the merch, and then obviously this documentary, whatever that happens to be, and yeah, I feel like once that's passed, we might see some options open up for
Wow.
Red Bull.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe they give Ricciardo a crack.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't think that. I know this definitely isn't a reason to keep someone in F1, but I don't think Drive to Survive would be even half as big as it is without Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, maybe not half, but he certainly contributed towards its early success with his charismatic persona.
Yeah.
He was very big in the first 2 seasons, along with Günther Steiner.
Yeah. I'm actually going to see Gunnar Steiner in London in October. Yeah, he's got a show.
One of his nights with Günther Steiner.
Yeah, he's got a show. I have no idea what's going to happen in it, but yeah.
Well, it's just going to be a Q&A, I think.
Probably, yeah. Hopefully he gives out some good meme-worthy content.
Maybe.
But, yeah. Fun fact, that's where I'm going.
So, going back to Ricciardo and Red Bull, what do you think of the possibility of next season they put Lawson straight into the Red Bull and put Ricciardo back into the RB?
I feel like that's a possibility. I wouldn't be super surprised if it happened, but if I was Daniel Ricciardo, would I want to do that?
Well, F1 seat versus no F1 seat.
I suppose, but like if they put Lawson, well, I suppose if he's in the RB and if Lawson doesn't perform, then he still has the
They can
opportunity.
switch.
Yeah, they can switch, but
Or switching with Yuki.
yeah,
But Red Bull seeing these teams pick up young drivers at Piastri, what's his name?
Franco.
Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Colapinto obviously now.
Ollie
But
Bem.
I'm in terms of the top teams. So Antonelli, Piastri.
Yeah.
Piastri's obviously proved himself. Antonelli's meant to be a good prospect. So Red Bull are seeing this and they're thinking, or they might be thinking, maybe we could make use of a young driver to support Max. Max could be the clear number one. There's a clear hierarchy there. Young drivers coming up, learning everything. Because Lawson's proved himself in F1 already.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
proved himself in F2. He's proved himself in supercars. So, I think he's more likely to go into Red Bull than Ricciardo. Because Ricciardo, based on this season, hasn't deserved it.
No, I can agree with that. He hasn't obviously consistently beaten Yuki. Yeah, I could see that happening. I kind of hope that Daniel Ricciardo gets a shot in the Red Bull, but yeah, he hasn't really.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to see that because they're curious as to whether he'd be good.
Yeah,
Rather than because he has earned it on merit. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like Daniel Ricciardo, so like I'm trying to be objective when I say that, but he's not outperforming Yuki Tsunoda this season.
I think that's why I want to see him in the Red Bull, because I'm curious to see whether he will just really
he's still
perform.
got it.
Yeah, really perform in that Red Bull. Put him back in that car where he won all those Grand Prix.
Well, it's going to be such a different car now.
Yeah, it is, and obviously it's not as good as it was when it was the dominant car. And I would have absolutely loved to see what he was like when that car was that dominant.
Yeah. Maybe a hot take, but I don't think he would be much better than Perez is now.
Okay. I think it's mentality. I think he lost the mentality when he was at McLaren. He's never been able to get it back.
I think Max is so good now, and that car is so not built around him, because I feel like that's like not like a fairly blanket ignorant statement when you say that, but like he has been quick in it, so it's tuned to him being quick and to his liking, that no other driver has got on with it because of Max's driving style.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot of influence towards the way that the direction the car has been changed, and with like kind of downforce, oversteer, understeer, and stuff like that.
Well, Alex Albon described it as like, when you play an Xbox, when you're playing a shooter game, and your sensitivity is like, I don't know, 30%. Max plays at 100% sensitivity.
Right, okay.
Like, he's the guy that like you move the joystick and you spin 10 times.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's how Albon described it.
That's a good concept of saying it, because
Yeah.
I think for like a non-F1 driver, it's kind of hard to understand.
Put it into words. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like if you had to like put money on it, you would say that I think Ricciardo would fall somewhere on that spectrum of the drivers that quite clearly sat behind Max and couldn't match his consistency in that car.
But that's what I want to see. I really would be so curious to see Daniel Ricciardo versus Sergio Perez, just to see how they line up against each other.
Versus Perez?
Yeah, like, I don't want them to be, I don't think that they should be teammates, but I want to see how they compare in their their driving.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for, like, if you put Daniel Ricciardo in a race and he finishes, P4, P3, how do you know Perez wouldn't have finished there if he did that race? I want them to, like, I want to see them kind of do the same race at the same time.
That's never going to happen.
No, obviously it's not going to happen, but I would be so curious to see where they end up if they were put in the same scenarios.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because, talent doesn't just disappear overnight, and
No.
confidence is a big thing to do with it. But Ricciardo was good in the Renault,
Yeah.
so it's only when he went to McLaren and that car just did not work for him at all. And then he lost confidence. It got worse and worse and worse, and he was So
Yeah. I find it so interesting that like F1 cars are so different depending on your team, and that some drivers can't drive specific cars. The way that their dominance relies on kind of like the way that the car setup is. Whereas there are certain drivers that can adapt and still be quick in different setups of cars. So, one last thing.
okay,
Who was your driver of the day that you said?
I think I said Lando Norris, right? Because he won.
I think
And
I said
he was
Lando
there.
Norris as well.
But why would you say Lando Norris?
Because, no, I said, did I say George Russell?
You had him qualifying pole and then finishing P3.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have said Lando Norris. I should have said Lando Norris. Probably said George Russell.
I think so.
For me, Lando Norris was driver of the day. Led every lap.
Yeah.
Got it off the line.
Yeah, 100%. There's no question.
Yeah.
No, Piastri drove a good race, but also he should have qualified higher.
Yeah, true. I think they gave Daniel Ricciardo driver of the day.
No, they give Norris it.
No, they gave Daniel Ricciardo driver of the day.
Did they? Mm-hmm. I thought I saw the pictures and said Norris got it.
No, Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay.
I think they gave it to
So-
him because it was his last race.
Yeah.
Sometimes the votes are kind of like not quite.
Yeah.
The
the
driver
argument
of the
also
day.
was Norris hit the wall twice, so why should he get driver of the day? But also he didn't he saved it and still won by 30 seconds.
Yeah, he could have bottled it and
Yeah, he could
crashed
have
into the wall.
Could have bottled it.
Could have done George Russell from last year,
Almost did.
but he didn't, and he led every lap. He
Yeah, he
got it off
was-
the line, qualified pole, did everything he needed to do.
He effectively got a Grand Slam if it wasn't for Ricciardo pitting for the fastest lap.
Yeah,
But Lando could have done that. He could have pitted.
he could have, but I just think that would be really risky.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we've digressed.
Yeah.
Quite far now. Before we talked about the fastest lap. The driver of the day. So I think we should wrap it up and look forward to. Oh wait, there's not a race now for
No, a few weeks off.
3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's essentially another summer break.
Yeah, till the 20th, and then we've got a triple header.
Yeah.
And another 4 weeks off or something like that.
It's
And
kind
then
of
another triple header.
yeah, it's a little bit weird how they've spread the races up.
Yeah,
because
it is a bit.
the summer break was 3 weeks, and then we've got 4 weeks later on.
So
in the
4
season.
weeks, I think it was.
Oh, okay. But still, like, there's lots of breaks like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they should make the summer break even longer than it is.
Yeah,
And
then
kind of-
you'd have a lot of races in a row, and that's you need some
I guess.
downtime.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Austin, Texas next time.
it is on the 20th, and I won't be able to watch that one because I'll be in America.
Not in Austin, though.
No, I'll be in Vegas. Funnily enough,
Oh, no. You're going to be in Vegas before the Vegas Grand Prix.
yeah, for the Austin Grand Prix.
Yeah. You got the wrong date.
But I will still have all the information I need to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And have a great time with you on this podcast.
Thanks, bro.
So, with that said, thank you for watching or listening. Let us know what you think. I know I ranted a bit in this episode, so it would be good to know other people's opinions. And have a discussion.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really good to do that. So thanks for listening, watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye.